Hello, welcome back to the Southern Scouser. It's been a little while again. As I say, all my content now, guys, if you're missing me, is on the Red Sea Podcast over at Never a Foul. So if you put Never a Foul into YouTube, the Red Sea Podcast on the playlists, all my stuff is on there. Me and James, aka Thiago's father, we're on there 2-3 times a week. All your Liverpool content. We've got LFC Euro Watch, so we've been keeping an eye, obviously, on the tournament, which is what I'm going to get into today. England's progress and all the Liverpool players at the tournament. We've got Transfer Tuesday, so every single Tuesday we've got a special guest on to talk about all the latest Liverpool rumours going on this summer. We've had a couple of people from the Red Men. We've had Grizz from LFC Day Trippers. We've got James Sutton on, which is actually on Thursday, just because of the football this week. The Italy game obviously going to extra time, which again I'll get into shortly. So definitely keep an eye on over on there, and tier lists every other Thursday as well, ranking all Liverpool players from mid-70s to now in each position. So goalkeeper, centre-back, left-back tier list, etc, etc. So keep an eye out for the centre midfielders on that one. But yeah, obviously you don't see as quite as much of me on here as always, but I thought today is a very, very special day. England are going to be playing in the semi-finals of the Euros against Denmark, and wow, what an opportunity to reach a final, the first final in a lot of people's lifetime, really, pretty much everybody's, other than anybody over the age of 60 that will remember the famous generation in 1966 when they did go all the way. Of course, that was at Wembley as well that day, with a 4-2 win over Germany, I believe it was. So, yeah, obviously looking into today's game, Denmark, fairy tale story to get to this stage. Obviously, Christian Eriksen, unbelievable scenes in that first group game against Finland. Obviously, Denmark did go on to lose the game, which I think was understandable. And then they did actually have a lead against Belgium and did lose 2-1 in that game as well, when Belgium made a couple of late substitutions. And when you've got that kind of quality on the bench, it's pretty hard to handle. But yeah, Denmark, they made their way through. They beat Russia, they beat Wales, they beat Czech Republic only just, and they find themselves in a semi-final. And you look at the four semi-finalists. I think England and Denmark especially. It's a bit of a surprise to see them to it, and one of them will be in the final. So I look at the Denmark team, I look at England, and I look at the Belgium match when they played against Denmark, and the introduction of subs late on in that game did turn the tide. Denmark were leading. I think Belgium brought on De Bruyne and Hazard, and they won the game. So I look at England's squad, and there's lots of debate about who should start, who should be in the team, etc. But we have that opportunity and we have that option to bring on players and change the game. So I know a lot of people have including myself, want Jack Grealish to start every single game. I know we beat Ukraine 4-0 in the last match, but I think Gareth Southgate's got it right so far. I think he's played the right players at the right time against the right opponents, and it's worked. We haven't conceded a goal, and we've won every game but the Scotland match. So difficult to criticise him. But there's rumours that Saka will be back in the lineup. He tends to like to start with two pacey wingers, doesn't he? Just to sort of open up and get in behind the team's early doors. If it's a Saka, if it's a Sterling. Obviously, Sancho came in that last game because Saka was injured. So, Grealish and Foden don't seem to be used as much from the start lately. More of impact players, and Foden not at all since the second group game. So I think even if we're at 0-0, maybe even 1-0 down, we have options. We can bring on Foden, Grealish, Sancho, Rashford. There's so many options in there. Even Jordan Henderson's been coming on and making an impact in that midfield area. So in terms of the team lineup then, I think from the start, I would expect to see a very, very similar team. I don't think you make wholesale changes when you get to the semi-finals. So I think Pickford will go in goal. Luke Shaw, who's had a fantastic tournament, will be at left back with probably Kyle Walker at right back. I know Gareth has liked to rotate his fullbacks a little bit. He's brought in Trippier and Reece James here and there, but I think when you get to a semi-final, you play the players that have played the most. So Shaw, I think, will be the left back in that one. But other than that, we have got centre backs. We've got Maguire and Stones, so that's not going to change at all. Midfield, you're looking at Phillips, you're looking at Rice again. Henderson's come back into the team and looked okay. Got a goal in the last match and does tend to come on quite well in the last 20-30 minutes of a game and basically kind of bring everybody together. And if we've got a lead to protect, he's a pretty good player to bring on. And even if we need a goal, he's another person that can spread the ball, spread the play pretty well. So I expect to see Phillips and Rice start. I would probably expect to see Henderson come on off the bench at some point. And the front three, I think, is the obvious most difficult one to predict. Obviously, you've got a number 10, possibly, or a back 5. I think Mason Mount will probably start the game. I don't think he'll go with a back 5 against Denmark. I might be wrong. We did it against Germany, which kind of matched up their formation. They played a back 3, or a back 5, however you want to look at it, and Denmark played that formation as well. So, interesting one. I'm not too sure what to expect there, but I would hope the 4-2-3-1 continues, which beat Ukraine. So I would expect Mount to be in there from the start. Harry Kane up front, of course. Raheem Sterling is guaranteed to start. He's been fantastic, and probably in with a shout for player of the tournament, not just for England, but for the entire Euros, which is very, very impressive. So other than that, we've got on the left wing, it's probably the one place that's the most difficult to predict, isn't it? You've got Bukayo Saka, Grealish, you've got Foden, you've got Sancho, lots and lots of options. Even Rashford played there a little bit against Ukraine when Calvert-Lewin came on. So lots of options, lots and lots of options there. So difficult to predict, but I would probably go with Sterling. And if Saka's fit, he's most likely to start with your likes of Grealish probably coming off the bench, Henderson coming off the bench as well. Denmark, I would expect Dolberg and Damsgaard to start. Potentially, you could see Poulsen come in as well there. Red Bull Leipzig striker, he could potentially come in and play as well. But other than that, Denmark will probably be very similar to how they've played, at least since the knockout round, the last 16 in the quarterfinals. But in terms of the game itself, it's very difficult to predict, isn't it? Very, very difficult. I see a really, really close game. I'm not going to lie. I don't think England are going to have it all their own way. I think we haven't conceded a goal yet, and I think we could keep that up. It's whether we can score. Denmark are a good side. Kasper Schmeichel, really good goalkeeper. Kjær at the back as well. They've got some good players in there. Højbjerg in the midfield. So potentially, I think maybe 0-0. Very, very late on, we could get a goal. Harry Kane penalty, something like that in 75th, 80th minute. Or it could be extra time and we could win 1-0 in extra time. I pray it's not penalties. I watched Italy-Spain last night, and for all Spain's dominance, obviously they were the team to miss out on the final, and Italy were the team to progress. And I think overall the tournament, Italy have been better than Spain. I think Italy deserved to be in the final, but for the 90 minutes, Spain were the strongest of the two. So, Italy await the winner. Whoever goes through is going to have a really tough task of beating Italy, but England are 2 games away from the promised land, European champions for the very first time. 2 games at Wembley, 1 against Denmark, 1 against Italy. If they can win both, these guys will be heroes. You've got Gareth Southgate, who could be made as Sir, Harry Kane as the captain potentially as well. So who knows? It could be a very, very special day. But that's pretty much it from me. I just wanted to give you a quick reaction at my thoughts, and come on England, of course, tonight as well. I'll be watching it with the missus, and just absolutely pray that we can get through. I've had so much disappointment through my life. I'm only 30, and I know there's people a lot older than me that have seen a lot more heartbreak than I have. 96, 98 was my first real one. 2000s, all penalty shootouts and losing to Iceland and boring tournaments. World Cup 2010. So 2018 was pretty good. We got to the semi-finals. Probably should have beat Croatia. Can we go one step further this time? I really, really hope so. If we get through to the final, then it's anybody's game, isn't it? It's a toss of a coin, I think, England, Italy. But Denmark first. We need to beat them. I think England would be favourites if they got through. So fingers crossed we can bring it home. But that's it from me, guys. Catch me over on the Red Sea podcast, as I said. And I'll see you soon.